go out, you build a snowman, you sled down the hill, it's gone in 3 days, perfect snow. In Illinois, 4 inches of ice that didn't disappear for a month, and death sickles. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 foot long, you afraid to walk under them, they're gonna kill you.
Yes.
Death sickles.
Oh, try walking to school every day in that.
5 miles each way.
Of course, always uphill, both
Uphill each way.
ways.
My dad lived in Colorado and he would tell me those stories.
No, 1 year it snowed so bad and it drifted so bad, my dad had to tunnel out to the garage. But the garage didn't have any snow on it, so he was able to go to work. But the snow had drifted around the house and around the porch where he literally had to dig his way out.
Oh, wow.
No school that day, you know. And one of the teachers, I remember in 9th grade, one of the teachers told us that all the teachers were looking forward to a snow day, and this particular superintendent absolutely would not call a snow day, even though we had buses, going all out in that kind of weather and stuff. And so the teachers all got together and they put all the snow that they had in these trucks and whatever and piled it up around all the superintendent's windows so that when he looked out first thing in the morning, all he saw was snow. And then he called a snow day.
Oh, wow. My stepdaughter laughs at us because, here in Oracle, we get 3 inches of snow. They call it that quick. And ½ inch of snow, they call it. It threatens to snow, and they call it. And she lives in Montana. It has to be negative 30 degrees before they will call school.
Yes, that's the way it was in Snowflake and Sholo too. You get an inch of snow and I'm looking outside going, hey, this is nothing. We can get there, no problem. And, the superintendent's like, oh, no school. So.
All right. Well, it looks like school is getting ready to start now with Aaron. So, Aaron, I'm going to hand the mic over to you and get ready for the twist that he's about to throw y'all's way.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit. Those of you that don't know me, I actually have been in real estate a little bit, just a little bit, about 15 years. However, real estate is not done the same way it was done 15 years ago. I actually didn't really get serious with real estate until about 6 years ago. That being said, I know you guys had Chase yesterday, right? You guys are still alive, right? Ha. Okay. So Chase and I work together. So on that note, I am going to go over the material just to let you guys know. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some kind of personal experiences if you guys don't mind there too. With goal setting, I am very, very big into not only goal setting but basically strategically planning a career in real estate. That being said, done this many years as in the goal planning portion of it, just to let you guys know. I'm a big believer in what you think turns into an emotional aspect, and it turns into action, and that action turns into results. So we're never going to talk about money today. The money is just a byproduct of your success. So therefore, but it all begins with what you're thinking about and what you're actually looking at trying to achieve. Okay. If anybody knows, you walk into our office here over at KLP, you can take a look at the goal board that's on the wall. We have all of our agents that have their goals that are up there. It's not just stuff. It's hitting their heartstrings. Our job is to help people get what they want in life, and real estate is just the platform to get them there. That's all this is about. Okay. So that being said, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the slides here first, and then we'll kind of open up for some discussion. And there's Mr. Dan Caldwell. I just saw that you'd gone there. What's up, Big Dan?
I just wanted to come say hi because you know that you're my second favorite instructor.
Okay, so who's your first? Don't say Chase. Don't say Chase. That's all I say. Please don't.
You know you're my first, always and forever.
All right, we can end the call right now. So, all right. So on that note, well, hold on. Who was it? Don't leave me hanging. Okay, we'll talk offline, bro. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about this here. I know you guys are, this is, hey, what session is this besides goal setting? Is it fourth or fifth? So kind of introductory level. So how many on the call right now have been in real estate for a year or longer? Raise your hand. I'm looking 1, 2. Okay. So predominantly this is a lot of agents that's kind of newer to the business, obviously. Okay. So here's what I wish I had was something like this on a platform, because I was led with absolutely no direction. Absolutely none. When it comes to financials, when it comes to what the heck is goal setting, I will say that I initially thought goal setting was just all hokey pokey stuff, just like, blah, 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 whatever, vision boards, blah, 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 just no. However, totally wrong. Totally wrong. Because it's a manifestation of what you want to achieve. And it's just, ultimately, it's what gets you up in the morning. Every single one of you should pat yourself on the back for being on the call today, because you're taking one step closer to getting what you want in life. Okay. And yes, this is on goal setting. In my opinion, it's one of the most important because it sets the foundation of where you want to go. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the material. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see what we have here. All right. So everybody see that? That's the introductory slide that you guys get every single day. So we're going to move. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit a, there we go. You guys still able to see that? Boom. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between growing your business and running a business. A lot of words here. For those of you that are high SCs, you get it. You're reading away. For a high D, just tell me the big bullet points. Okay. So bottom line is the secret is, ready? There is no secret. No pun intended. Seriously. You just have to be able to do what others have actually done before you. And if you're willing to do that, then you're going to get the results that you want. Okay. So success leaves clues. So we know exactly what to do every single day. And that's kind of what we're going to be covering today, is what others have done before us, so we can kind of mimic that behavior. Make sense? All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about growing a business versus the running a business. So bottom line is there's going to be different skills that we need to focus on, right? So some of these different skills, every day we need to lead generate for buyers and sellers. And again, just by being here today, you're getting your training and coaching. So that's a good job on that. And we're going to be setting goals for your business. Is that a fair assessment? All right. So, bingo. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to understand in envisioning a big life. Okay, I want you, the big why. We've all heard that before. I think we've gone down that trail before. But what we want to do is we want to set goals, which are an intricate part of running your business. Every single one of you are 1099 employees. You run your own business, whether you know that or not. That's what's a little bit different about this industry versus some, and I'm going to use the analogy if you're working at Target. So if you're working at Target, I was actually talking to my brother about this last night, because he is in Denver, halfway through getting his license. And he was asking the question, like, okay, how is this different than me working at my other job? Does anybody want to kind of give me an example just from the financial side of things, how it's different?
Steady income versus don't know when that next paycheck is coming.
Now, let me ask you this. Can that be stressful?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna use my analogy. So I was in the military for 20 years. That being said, I got paid on the 1st and the 15th. I knew to the penny exactly how much I was going to make. How easy was it, do you think, for me to budget? If I know what's coming in, I just know not to exceed the amount that's coming in for a budget. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, life happens. There's surprises. So therefore, you got to have some sort of a quote unquote savings, but the security blanket was there. Now, let's wake up. Let's jump into real estate, and let's not have that security blanket. And if you have the mentality that you're unemployed every single day, you're going to be all right, because that's literally what we are. Now, if we are wanting, let's let's see how we can increase stress levels and decrease them. Okay, so, and I know that one of you guys Robin was actually kind of talking earlier about, different goals, this, that, the other. So let me ask you this, and this is I'm not being judgmental here, but let's look at stress factors. If you have one transaction in the pipeline, okay, so you have one transaction under contract, and you've got your budget, and things go sideways about 3 days prior to closing, what do you think happens to your stress level?
It goes way up.
There we go. Okay. However, if you've got 8 to 10 in the pipeline, and one of them goes sideways, obviously you'd like it to close, but your stress level is what? It's minimized.
Yeah.
Okay. It's common sense. We know that. So one of the things that we do, and one of the I guess traps that I typically see newer agents get into, is what they do is they start to get, they work on their deal. Now you work on that deal and things go sideways, or the buyer just, you know what, hey, I lost my job. I can't buy now. To no fault to anybody, your stress levels now increased. So the pipeline is something that we look at consistently on a daily basis. Okay. You tell me a CEO that doesn't track numbers. Yeah, they're not a CEO. So on that note, each one of you are a CEO of your own business, so you should probably track your numbers. Make sense? So by tracking those numbers, we're going to get into how to do that from the big picture standpoint of a year. Okay. It's hard to determine what you want in a year, because literally what you're looking at is a year is literally 12 months away. If you break this down into chunks, okay, and I mean chunks to a daily basis, you are now adjusting your GPS basically in your business to be able to do the things daily to achieve your goal. The numbers are already out there for you. So when we understand the envisioning of your big life, you got to understand what you want in the very end. So let's talk about a vision board. And I'm going to, let me see here. Yep, I can't take that off there. So anyhow, if you want to adjust that, you've got to look at what your big picture is at the very end of the year. What do you want to achieve in 1 year? Whether it's buying something, doing something for the community, whether it's, pardon me, what are you going to utilize that money for? And when you break it down into quarters now let's look at businesses. Do you not think businesses have quarterly reviews? Okay, so we don't talk about that enough in real estate, because if we're running a business, we should probably have quarterly reviews. Now let's break down that quarter. If you are literally looking at things from a quarterly view standpoint, isn't it a little bit easier and manageable to look at 12 weeks versus 52? Okay, so then we break it down even further to, if we know the activities that we have to do daily, that's going to get us the result in a quarter. And then all we do is we rinse and repeat, because I'm going to say this, and some of you may not like this, real estate's boring. If you're very successful in real estate, you're doing the same thing over and over, i.e. lead generation, dealing with buyers and sellers. That was the first slide that we saw. Am I right? And then there was what? There was a couple other things. Make sellers and listing presentations and preview real estate. Some of you, that may be very, very exciting in the very beginning, but you keep doing it over and over and it gets very boring. It's inevitable. I've seen the cycle of this go with multiple agents. Okay. So somebody want to read that quote for me? Don't everybody jump on it at once.
Who we are and what we want to do, what we want to go determine what we do and what we accomplish.
Okay. So I want to kind of dig into this just a little bit. First of all, we need to know where we want to go. You as a person. So if you're an individual and you're an individual agent and you don't know where you want to go, you need to search out, i.e. with a coach, something to figure out what you want. Because if you don't have a starting, or if you don't have an end goal and you don't even know where you're starting, good luck in getting there. Okay. Also, why is it important to set goals for some of you that may be setting goals? Why is it important? Does it help you? Does it hurt you? Is it hokey? Talk to me. This is, hold no punches here.
Gives you something to work towards.
Okay, so does that actually excite you, or is it more of just throw it against the wall and let's see if it sticks? Talk to me.
Hi. This is
Somebody's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun. Well, anyways, this is my first day on Ignite, and you're just like shaking some things up in my brain here. Like I came from teaching, and we would have like quarterly reviews or something like you were just saying, and I was right here in the kitchen, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I didn't really nobody's like looking forward to those or whatever, but as you're saying that those are important here in real estate too, I'm thinking, oh yeah, because we got to kind of see if we're lining up with the standard and everything, and if we don't have the administrator to come check in on us, then we're going to have to do it for ourselves, and have coaching and different things like that. But I'm just trying to piece, that's what's sticking right to the wall for me right now. But yeah.
That's a very valid point. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because here's the thing. When I mention somebody as a coach, I don't care who the coach is. What's one of the things that coaches typically do that we may not like?
Hold you accountable.
That's the word I'm looking for, accountable. So here's the deal. Accountable is not punishment. Accountable is actually looking in the mirror. You may not like it. That's all you're hearing. And it's the way they convey the message to you. And for those of you that know me, know that I'm very blunt and to the point, okay? I hold no punches here. So don't take offense, please, please, please. I have to understand empathy as well, okay? But here's the thing. Nobody likes accountability. You show me somebody that likes accountability, yeah, great. I'm not gonna call them a liar, but here's the thing. What they like is they like the results that accountability brings. Okay, so if you're willing to make a promise is different now, isn't it? If you promise somebody something, you go through with your promise. If you promise yourself you're going to achieve your goals, we're going to work backwards from this. If you promise you're going to achieve your goals, all you're doing is holding yourself accountable. The problem is with new agents, they don't know what things they need to do, what action steps they need to do, what their conversion rates are, all of this in order to achieve what they want to achieve. Let me ask you this. Do you think a newer agent or a seasoned agent has a higher conversion rate?
A seasoned agent,
Why?
because of the experience and lead generation. And
So the downside to this is newer agents have to do what? They have to increase their skill set. Seasoned agents also need to increase their skill set or keep the swords sharp, is what I typically say, because if they don't, they're going to have a dull sword, and somebody else that has a sharper sword is going to be able to win. So learning never ends. All we are is we're in a training and coaching company. We just happen to use it in the form of real estate. That's it. You'll see that probably posted throughout different market centers. And then you throw in the technology piece, yada, yada. I will get there. So for those of you that know me, I'm pretty darn passionate about this subject because literally it's the foundation to hit a home run. Okay? Yeah.
something that Dan said that stuck with me is first you work to learn, then you work to earn.
Bingo. Okay. I can go off on a tangent on that one. I can't agree more. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I'm a big believer in learn before you earn concept. A lot of the way that we do things within a team concept are the same exact way. Okay. And it's not to increase money, yada, yada. But here's the thing. The more you learn on the front end, the less you have to clean up on the back end.
Right.
Okay. So this slide right here, I'm going to spend some time on. Okay. The reason I'm going to spend some time on this is because it has a lot of info and I want to make sure I convey this in the right message. Okay. So let me ask you guys about the 3 words on the left-hand side. Think, act and achieve. Okay. At our summit this last, when the heck did we have it? September. I literally talked about this for about 4 hours. Okay. That being said, there's a couple pieces that are missing to this equation for me that aren't on here. I made a Facebook post this morning that kind of talks a little bit about that as well. So somebody talk to me about what you think and why it matters. This is where we get participation right here, ladies and gentlemen. Why does what you think about matter?
Make things into existence.
Okay, absolutely. So,
What you think about expands.
okay, and that's a bold law. Mhm. So here's the thing. If you are thinking negative thoughts every single day, what do you think is going to happen?
Negative things.
Okay, I didn't say it, you just did. Okay. Now, let's not get all hokey pokey. If you think positive things all day long, do you get positivity kind of comes into your world, etc.?
Yes.
All right. However, where do you get your thinking from? How do you-
What surrounds you,
There we go.
what you choose to bring to your life. Yes.
There you go. So what I call it is, you guys ever heard of neuristic programming? What are you putting in your mind? What are you listening to? i.e. audible. What are you reading? What are you putting in your mind? What are you watching TV wise? If you watch TV, all of this manifests into the way you start to think. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, you have full control over that environment. Just like we talked about. If you surround yourself with the top 5 people that you want to emulate, what do you think you're going to turn out to be? Very similar to those people. How many of you guys have kids? Yay! Now, here's the thing. If you have school-age children, do you want them to hang around with people that basically are getting in a bunch of trouble?
No.
Why? Obviously,
Birds of a feather flock together.
there we go. So they're going to potentially turn into that. That's their environment that they're in. So why don't we do that as adults? Why don't we do that in our business? Why don't we surround ourselves with people that are going to make us better? Why don't we surround ourselves with people that have actually gone before us and actually we can learn from them? The bubble's got to be bigger. Now you can do that physically with people, as in people that are in the same city. You can do that online, as in how many of you guys have ever listened to a John Maxwell or Simon Sinek or whatever, learning about things from a leadership standpoint or whatever, just by a video, but you never met them before, but you're learning from them. That's what technology does. You've got to be able to feed your mind. In other words, that's how you're going to think. Now, here's the thing, moving from thinking, i.e. in the head, into acting, there's a little bit different piece that's missing here, and it's called emotion. If the thought is there and it's a great idea, if we have a great idea, how many times have we gone to a class and you heard a great idea and you walked out of there and you never implemented it? We all have. We bookshelved it. So the bottom line, the biggest key is the action piece. You got to take action on it. If you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. So you think about it, it's got to be emotionally driven enough for you to take action. If any of you have ever quit a habit of sort, you got to the point where, you know what, I've had enough, I'm done. And what do? You take action on it. Now, here's the thing. You got to consistently take action on it to create that as the new habit. And that habit is called actions. That's the action piece. All the achieve is the results. That's it. And results equal money. So if you look at this as a mathematical equation, and some of you know me pretty well on this, I do everything mathematically. Programming turns into thinking. So programming plus thinking plus action equals results. Where do we go sideways? Where do we have most of our problems? It's typically right out of the gate. It's how we're thinking. We're the ones that beat ourselves up. We're not good enough. I'll never be able to do that. Oh my gosh, I'd really like to, make this much money. And then we're going to get into the mathematical equation on how to do that. Okay. But you know what? You're thinking in the wrong text right out of the gate. So your results are going to equal the way you're thinking. The one thing that I really, really love to do is taking somebody's potential and pushing them to achieve something that they never thought that they could achieve before. That's literally my passion. And those of you that have known me for years know that that's exactly, I will do anything and everything to help them get what they want and more. It's a sense of achievement, i.e. the third word that you see up there. That makes sense? Or did I just kind of confuse the heck out of all of you? Okay. So that being said, let me take a look at some of these notes. And boom, let's get into how big are you thinking? How big are you thinking? We limit ourselves in the way that we do think. I literally will tell you right now that I do this all the time as well. I'm a human being. I never, ever, ever even thought that we'd be closing over 700 homes this year.
Awesome.
Seriously, it was never on my radar. However, I remember one of the goals that I had. Well, actually, I remember hearing, man, somebody closes a home every single day, which means that's 365. I'm just giving you a personal experience here. I was like, man, well, dang, dude, that can't be done. Nope. I had to change the way I thought in order to change the results. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That was the biggest issue. That was years ago. So here's the thing, that the way I think now, I limit myself. Nobody else. If I have the internal drive and the motivation to do something, nobody's going to stop me. It's got to be strong enough for you to, that desire's got to be strong enough for you to overcome those objections. So how big is your thinking? Give an example. Usually we relate things to number of transactions. Why? Why do we do that?
Easy.
Okay, it's an easy trackable item. Anything that's tracked, we can determine conversion rates. Dude, Jason's on a bike. That is awesome, bro. I'm impressed. So if it's trackable, we're able to compensate for any kind of conversion rates. Okay. That's literally, that's my bread and butter. If I can't track it, it's pure luck or, fate. That's it. I'd much rather run a business that's predictable. And again, each one of you, and I want this to be very clear, each one of you run your own business. So if you don't have a goal, that's the first step that you need to really literally sit down with you and the spouse, or if you don't have a spouse, just yourself, get some alone time, just figure out, what do you want in life? What do you really want? And then all we're doing is we're backing it out. All we're doing is taking it from the very end and going to the start. How many of you guys been to the restaurant that has the maze on the back of the menu? You know what I'm saying? What's the quickest way to solve the maze?
Backwards.
There you go. Try that next time.
Done
But
that
what do? We want to go by the rules, and we want to go where? It says start. So for those of you that are high compliance individuals, this is going to be tough for you. Okay? For those of you that are like a high D like myself, and you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a DISC assessment kind of concept. Mine's a straight line. Just get there. I broke all kinds of barriers. Yeah, I get it, but just get there. However, if you start from the end and go to the beginning, I pretty much guarantee you're probably going to get there a lot faster because you have the end in mind. Just the way things work. Okay. So talk to me about so this is what's kind of tough. I wish we were in I wish we had a whiteboard, because I'd be able to kind of whiteboard this out for you guys. So time and effort is on the bottom side of things. I pretty much think that the majority of people are hard workers. So therefore they're putting their time, they're putting their effort in, their actions are there. The other side of the equation is thinking. Could it be that their mindset's not in the right direction? Could it be that their goals are too low? How many people like achieving goals or are the type of people nobody has to raise their hand. How many people are sandbaggers? I don't want to set my goal too high because I want to make sure I achieve it. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. All you're doing is limiting yourself, though. I've been there. How many people are also like, hey, I'm going to double. You know what? I had a goal of 24 transactions a year. I'm going to do 48. And then you get halfway through the year and you got 6 under contract. How does that make you feel? Well, now we're going to have to shorten. We're going to have to take the target and narrow it down. Or do you increase the activities? Are you willing to increase the activities? Because if the goal is big enough, you're going to take the actions into your own hands. Make sense? Okay. So new agents limit themselves by not being systematic with lead generation. The thing that I don't like about that sentence is, what is lead generation? We use the word lead generation as like it's a blanket statement. What the heck is it? Somebody give me an example of a lead generation source that you like to use. Which one do you like?
My sphere.
Okay, Sphere is one of them. And that's the highest conversion rate. Just FYI, statistically. Give me another one.
Social media.
Social media. Okay. Give me another one. And then we'll stop.
Door knocking.
Door knocking. Okay. There's others. There's for sale by owners. There's expireds. There's circle prospect. I can keep going. Okay. However, there's the big ones. Find the one that you like to do. If you like to do something, you're not working. If you love what you're doing and you're getting the results that you want, you never have to work a day in your life. And now you're achieving the goals that you got. Okay. Most agents don't stay in the business because they don't treat it like a business. This is very saddening to me. And we're going to see when we start to break down things here in a minute here that's a little bit frustrating, because when you don't run things like a business, what happens is you have the habits, those bad habits get ingrained, and you try to change it later on, and it's a lot more difficult than if you started out of the gate. So, advantage for those of you that are newer, you don't have any bad habits. You don't have any to break. All I say is just jump on the coattails of somebody that's done it before you and just do what they're doing and try and understand it along the way. Does that make sense? I'll say that phrase a lot, because here's the thing. I want it to be very clear that a lot of this, again, there is no secret. Okay. So another reason is they get burnt out because they don't see the return that they want. Xenia, you've been in the business for a little bit. Why do you think agents get burnt out when they don't see the results that they want?
It's not working. Sorry, I couldn't.
Gotcha. So why would so agents get burnt out because they're not seeing the results that they want?
Yes.
Why do you think?
What was coming to my mind when you asked that question is my own experience. So I've been in the business a little bit over 4 years, and I didn't have the consistency or the systems. So I think newer agents are always trying to find out what's going to work for them, what to do, where to do the lead generating, how to conduct their business. And it's very tiring if you don't have the systems, the mindset, and if you're not consistent. I think even if you're doing something that you think at the time is not working, if you're consistent, it's going to pay off in the long term. So I think that would be my biggest advice to the newer agents on this class. Start now, be consistent, follow up with your sphere, make sure that you are adding people to your sphere and consistently following up with them. Don't let a year, 2 years go by without at least sending a note, and it'll pay off. I'm telling you from my own experience, it will become less of a chore and it'll just be a system. It's something that you do on a consistent basis.
So consistency, I'm going to replace that word with what we talked about, boring. When it's consistent, it's boring.
Right.
That's the relation I was talking about earlier. Okay. So that being said, listen to anybody that is successful in the business. They're just doing it out of habit.
Right.
Okay. They're doing their actions out of habit, whether they're good habits or bad habits. They're doing it out of habit. And then here's the thing. They wake up and they go, whoa, what is the reason for my success? Or what is the reason why I'm not going the direction I want to be going? It's because those habits haven't caught up with the trend of what the real estate market's doing. Very simple. So we're always most people are trying to find the creative aspects of things. Newer agents want to do things that are flashy and exciting and yada, yada. That's great. However, get your fundamentals down. Pick up the MREA and read the first 2 chapters, and it's going to talk about foundation. You got to build the foundation first, just like a house. You build the foundation first and then put all the aesthetics into it. The nice granite, the yada, yada, the lights and this, that thing. But you can't put the lights up if you don't have your foundation down. No different in running a business. Okay, cool. Let's get off this slide. That one's boring. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about a little bit of an exercise here. So you guys have the printouts, am I correct?
Yes.
You have? Okay, so let's do this real quick, and I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes, and not even that much. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to basically, in each one of your rectangles, and if you don't have the printout, it's okay. Just get a piece of paper real quick. And if you're, hey, Jason, don't get a piece of paper right now. You're driving on a motorcycle. But seriously, what I want you to do is I want you to kind of, I look at this a little bit differently, and I like the way that they've done this because it gives you a different perspective. Whenever you're looking at things from a different perspective, all you're doing is you're looking at the same thing, okay? But you're looking at it from the opposite side. I use a beach ball analogy here. Dan Caldwell, if I am holding the beach ball between the two of us, what color do you see on the beach ball?
Green.
Green. Okay, I don't see green, I see red. But we're looking at the same thing.
Yep.
There you go. So we're seeing things differently, but we're looking at the same thing. Same concept when it comes to this kind of an exercise that we have right here. Okay. It's to understand, how do I get to see green like he is? I'm going to either have to rotate the ball, or here's the deal. I really don't care. Doesn't matter, but understand that, you know what, just because things are one way doesn't mean that they're wrong. And also doesn't mean that they're right. Okay. So let's take a look at this. What matters most to people? Other people. Let's just be honest. If all of your goals that you set are just to be set for you, that's great. But if you don't have anybody else in your world or in your life, what use are those goals? If I were to ask what somebody's big why is, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to come up with family. Am I correct?
Right.
Some form of family, some form of friends or something of that nature. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to peel the onion back. So let's do that. So in each one of the squares, at the very top of the square, what I want you to do is I want you to write the name of somebody that you want to impact. Now, and I'm going to read this off because it's actually pretty good. Okay. Write the name or person about somebody that you care about. Now, it could be your parents. It could be whoever. And then in the box, as you see there, give an example of how you'd like to help them. Such as, let's say maybe you want to take care of your parents. Send your kids to school without debt. In other words, college fund. It could be pay for a vacation for you and your best friend. It could be, a community or something in the community, such as a dog shelter, animal shelter, etc. It could be anything. And here's the thing, you've got to attach a dollar figure to that amount on what you want to contribute. Do that about 5 times as you see here. And these are just 5 different little goals, okay? and then let me know when you are done. And I'm going to keep talking as you're doing this, okay? So as you put I'll give you an example, as you see on the screen, Sarah and Hunter. If that's your kids' names and you want to get them through school and you want to pay that off, and that's a big why of yours, how much is it going to cost to do that? Okay. And then go to the next one. You may only have 3 things that you want to achieve. This may be a 5-year goal, not a 1-year. I challenge you to have one of them on there that just really is going to change your life if you achieve it. Sense of accomplishment. Something that makes you happy internally, you know, the butterflies, call it that. When you're done, take yourself off mute and then let me know the first person that's done, and then I'll continue.
I finished first, I guess.
Yes, Stephanie for the win. Actually, it's okay. For those of you that are finishing up, Stephanie, can I ask you, what's one thing that's on there, if you don't mind? And if you're like, you know what, Aaron, get bent. You don't need to know anything about me. I'm okay with that too.
No, so one of the ones I'm excited about, well, I want to, okay, here's one. I said I want to help my friend Juanita go to massage therapy school. Why? Because once upon a time, I thought that would be kind of cool for me. And she's working as a preschool teacher, but she gives really good massages. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe that would be something good to write down. I know that would change her life if she could just, you know, have that opportunity.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How would that make you feel? And then what number is attached to that, actually?
What money? I didn't actually write that down. So let's say $6,000.
Good to go.
How would that make me feel? Well, well, you know what? Like, she's got 3 kids and she's been in my life forever. And so I was in her same shoes, working in that same exact preschool position. And it just, you know, it's a nurturing position for while it's there, but we all want to kind of go somewhere else afterwards and then give somebody else just starting off like that position and then go do something that we really want to do. So I think it would just make me feel like, you know, I know that she would be using, you know, something that she's been a talent of hers, you know, using her hands for something really good. And just probably feel like, you know, I couldn't go to college, but that's okay. Like, I could go to, you know, a licensing school and, you know, do something that I love. So I think she would love that.
Okay.
It'd be really nice to surprise her with it.
Here's how I hear that. Okay. And everybody may hear it a little bit differently. I hear that you want to give Juanita an opportunity for a passion that she may have. I may be wrong. Okay. But I think it's pretty close to that. That's what you're feeling. So when you do something of gratitude of that nature, that's what money can do. Okay. You can have on there, you know, boat, you can have car, you can have, you know, house, totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I encourage that. That is your goal vision. But again, this is about people. Bottom line is real estate is just a platform to get you to where you want to go and achieve the things in life that you've never been able to achieve before. It's the ticket to opportunity. And for those of you, I'm going to bust the bubble here. It's not about selling homes. Selling homes is just basically going through the motions. The broker is basically going to dictate on how and what things you can and can't say in the contract to protect the agents. You should know that contract inside and out, bottom to top, read it, done. Here's the thing. Most conflicts that happen between 2 agents or between clients and agents is what? It's contractual. They didn't understand what they were literally reading. And we are the keeper of that. Understand that to a T, and then you can start to focus on other things that matter most, because Bottom line is the contract is only so many pages. Memorize it. Memorize it. Once you do that, liability gets minimized to the lowest degree possible. Okay. So we're talking about goals here. So therefore, for those of you that did write everything down, you've got a number that's attached to it, add up all of those numbers and put it in the center. That's your financial goal. This is just one way to build goals. I like the concept of it. It's a different perspective on things. And this is straight out of the textbook piece. I look at things a little bit differently too. So let's look at the other red side of that beach ball. Okay. My perspective is, like I say, it's not right or wrong. It's just the way that I look at things. I look at two separate goals and one determining factor, meaning where do most Americans live on a day-to-day basis? They typically live in survival mode, i.e. paycheck to paycheck. So my goal is to get somebody out of that mindset into success, which is a goal. So in other words, if we were sitting here, Xenia, if we were sitting here a year from now and you literally were like, you know what? This last year has been awesome. I've been able to do everything that I wanted to do. You go back, you look at, okay, you know what? Let's look at the screen here. I was able to donate to the cat habitat. I was able to get through school debt free, for the kids. I've already got that established. I paid off my mortgage, for crying out loud. This last year was pretty awesome. And I joke about this, but it's like the mindset is different. I got guacamole when I didn't even have to think about it, how much it cost. A totally different mindset than those that are in survival mode, is it not? When you don't even know how you're going to keep the lights on next week, how you're going to feed the kids. Do you not think your actions are different from survival to success? Now let's go to one more, which is thinking big. Significance. What's the difference between successful and significance? You move away from numbers and you start to talk about people. That's what's different. So when you're setting goals, I like to look at what is survival rate? What do you need to have to keep the lights on? That's not a goal. If your goal is just to keep the lights on at the house, that's stressful. Your goal should be something above that, to where you look back and you're satisfied with what you achieved that year from a financial aspect. Those that know me on my team, I never talk about money. I talk about the actions that are going to get them what they want. And that's no different here. So therefore, what I typically go for is success is something that's a reality to most people. They can see it, they can visualize it, and they get a little bit excited about it. I look at just one little indice up towards significance. If I can just drip a little bit of that significance on them, gratitude pays off a lot more than any kind of material aspect in life, period. That's one thing that I've learned over the years. Bottom line is people matter. People have a huge impact on one another. Okay? Any questions on this right here at all? Anybody, anything? Does anybody relate to it? Okay. All right. So, understanding your goal. We talked a little bit about that, kind of dissected it inside and out, understanding the goal. You got to be very clear on where you want to go. Okay, let me use the same analogy as if we're going to take a trip from Tucson to New York, right? That's a game plan, is it not? So you're going to pack up the kids, throw them in the car, and just start driving somewhere?
Get a map.
There you go, you got to get a map. So therefore, that's what a goal is. A goal is the end of the map. That's the destination. Okay. Along the way, let's look at this, because I have not done the map going to New York. Okay, so let's go there. If I start out heading west, I think I'm going away from my goal. Am I correct? Fundamentals here. However, let's just go ahead and start heading east, and then let's head a little bit north, a little bit east. Track it out. What do we have today? I.e., we have our phones. that can, if I want to go to New York, what do? Type in New York and then boom. It's going to give us our quickest route. It's going to give us everything along the way and done. Just like a GPS in our hands that we have. Why do we not have a GPS for our business? That GPS is telling us whether or not we're on track. This is number tracking. So if we really want to get to New York quick, obviously, let me relate that to real estate. If you want to make $100,000 in real estate, does it have to be in a year? Or can it be 8 months? Or can it be 6? However, if you have it tracked out for 12 months and you stay the course, you're going to get there. Okay? If you don't stay the course, it's going to take you longer. Now, sometimes you can beat yourself up on that from a mental aspect. So you've got to determine where you want to go in the time frame you want to get there. I like breaking it down into quarters versus 1 year because it's harder to look at that. What if the GPS on the phone only updated every 12 hours and I'm off course?
You can be way off course
I'm
by
gonna
the time you
I'm
get
gonna
it straightened out.
I'm going to have to course correct. I'm
Yeah.
going to correct that course, and that can get frustrating. So the intervals in between where you're doing your checkups, i.e. accountability, the closer they are together, the straighter line you're going to have. And that straight line means a straight line to what your goal is. Cool. All right. So let's look at this one. Whoa, bingo. Where does your money go? So this is the one, this breaks it down very simple. And some of you may think, okay, but I'm going to get a little bit more complex on you. Okay. One of the biggest fears I have in real estate is getting agents to make money and they don't budget their money effectively. So again, let's go back to the Target thing. Target takes out taxes, do they not? And I'm just using Target as an example. If you're working at Target, has anybody ever worked at anything else other than real estate? Obviously, probably yes. Okay. So therefore, most businesses, they're going to take out taxes. What else are they going to take out?
Social Security, so on and so forth.
Okay. And we can just keep going down the road. Okay. When you get into real estate, you get a commission check. Let's just say the commission check's $1,000. Wouldn't it probably be in your best interest to already have something set aside for
Taxes.
taxes? Okay. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to get into that today because that's something that literally probably 2 to 3 hours, and I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not a financial advisor either, obviously. However, there's certain things that you can put in place to make sure that you don't have to think about it. I like using the profit first analogy, which is another class that I teach that I love teaching that class because it has changed my world when it comes to profit in real estate. Okay. And it's allocating a certain percentage of every single check, not just, hey, I'm going to put X amount of dollars per month. It's a percentage of every single check into a totally different account that is called something different. The account isn't tax account, it's government's money because it's not my money. It's how I'm looking at things. It's that perspective thing again. Make sense? We've got to change the way that we think. Again, it's going to take the action on things. The last thing that I ever want to see anybody do is make I don't care what it is, $150,000, $200,000 in real estate. And they wake up come April 15th and they're like, oh crap. I didn't know I had to pay the IRS this much. And they don't have the money because here's the thing, you kept it in your checking account or moved a little bit to savings. So now you owe the IRS. Oh, in year 2, you still make $150,000, but your habits haven't changed. So what do you think happens at the end of year 2? You're still paying the government. You're actually going to be owing them more because you didn't get your habits in order. I kid you not, that's my biggest fear. I see too many agents get out of the business In year 2, it's typically an 87% dropout rate. Here's the thing. You cannot fail in real estate. You can only quit. I'll say that again. You can't fail in real estate. You can only quit. And that's a Denny Grimes quote. If you guys don't know who he is, he runs a big team that's out in Florida. I take that to heart because too many agents will quit because they don't understand the processes of things. We don't teach them this stuff in most brokerages. That's my passion, is to teach people how to do things smarter, not harder. Quickest way to save money, and I'm going to go on a tangent here, quickest way to save yourself money if you're making anything over about $40,000 a year is to incorporate. That's totally different class, okay? That's that profit first piece, because you're running a business. If you come into this business just to show homes and look at a pretty sunset, that's fantastic. That's a hobby. It's not a business, okay? So first thing is what? Taxes. Everybody's in a different tax bracket. So for me to sit here and say, you should put this much away, that much away, what percentage? I personally, for our team, I put 30% away. It goes into a totally different account. Don't even look at it. Because if you look at it, what's the opportunity to do? Tap into it. Am I right? Stealing from Peter to pay Paul? Nope. It's not running a business. Okay. So we start off with the commission check. Let's look at it from a seller standpoint. The brokerage is going to receive a certain amount of commission. Let's just use an example of a 6%. 3% is going to go to one side, 3% is going to go to the other side. That's why you saw the division, basically a 50-50 standpoint. Do whatever you want with your business model. However, out of the money that you receive, what you're seeing here is a third of it is going to go towards what? Part of it's going to go to the market center. Let's be honest. Until you cap, and that's the beautiful thing about KW. Once you cap, it's a 0% that goes to the market center. You are at 100%. There is not a 100% company. I don't care who it is. There is not. They'll nickel and dime you on fees all day long. Okay. So that's the beauty of a cap. Okay. So the market center, franchise fees, royalty fees, etc. That's going to be basically a third until you cap, and then you're going to get that money to put into your pocket. Okay. The other is going to be what? The other is going to be what? What's the other 1/3?
Business expenses.
There we go. Expenses. And we can say expenses are cost of sale. Okay. Now, if you look at the model that Keller Williams has actually, that Gary Keller has actually put out in the MREA book, which if you have not read that, you need to. Not that I want you to, you need to, because it's the foundation on how to run a business. Okay. That being said, expenses. The model is actually 29.2%, and we're looking at if it's a third, it's 33% right here. To include cost of sale. Cost of sale is going to be any kind of referral piece, any kind of, admins that you may be paying, or any kind of salary positions that you may have. If you're an individual agent, that's you. It's okay. So that's where all this goes. So the remaining portion of it is what? That's your take home. That's your net. Pretty depressing, is it not? So your check that ended up being $1,000 now ends up being $333 to take home net. But you've already got your taxes paid for, you got your expenses paid for. So the rest is profit. Cool. Later date, we can talk about profitability ranges, this, that, the other, but that's totally different. Okay. Done. Average sales price. Let's look at this from a number format, not a visual format. Average sale price, let's just say it's a 3% commission. You're looking at $9,000. You guys did the math extremely fast. I know that. You can do 3% all day long. Okay. So we're going to look at that. Now, market center company dollar. This is a market center somewhere else other than Tucson, because what is our cap here in Tucson for an individual agent? Not a trick question.
10,000.
There we go. So therefore, $10,000 would be their royalty. Royalty is going to be $3,000 nationwide. So the max you're going to be paying is $13,000, not $30,000. Okay. So that being said, That's going to be, i.e. cost of sale. So, and I can't see this here. Sorry about that. Let me see here. So net income, let's just say that you want to make $100,000. You have a net income of $100,000 goal. Company dollar, again, if you go back to the slide before, 30,000. Business expenses, 50,000. Total GCI, meaning you're going to have to make $180,000 in order to net 100. Your average GCI calculation in there is at 9,000. So therefore, it's telling you exactly how many transactions that you need to do for the year to hit your goal. If you guys need help on this, seriously, reach out to me. I got no problem, okay, doing a one-on-one because everybody's different. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody, everybody's price point's different. If you don't know what the average or medium price is here in Tucson, I do a stats class tomorrow. Okay, and you'll be able to figure that one out. Start with that, then go with what your own personal is. Data in is data out. Okay, so that being said, command. I'll be honest, I don't use command from a team aspect piece. So therefore, Kayla or Dan is going to have to kind of elaborate more on this. But here's the thing. All of that data is actually generated for you in command. I do know that. Okay, it's how you use that data. So, right activities, we're going to get into that here when we start to talk about the 80-20 principle. Okay, so who has heard about the 80-20 principle? Anybody? Okay, so do me a favor, just you're not going to be wrong. Okay, and I'm going to kind of guide it in a little bit different direction from a different perspective here. Give me your perspective on what the 80-20 rule means.
So you make a bunch of calls, 20% of those are gonna give you some sort of a result. So, I mean, for 100% of what you do, you get 20% results, right? I mean,
Okay, yeah,
pretty much.
So I'm gonna word it two different ways. Okay, so we can kind of use the analogies here. So Pareto was actually a farmer that was actually in Italy. Okay, and what he noticed was 80% of his crops, the produce, was generated on about 20% of the land. There were some really hot spots on his property that were producing a lot more produce. Okay, so he kind of scratched his head and he started to figure out, okay, wait a minute, how does this work in all kinds of different industries, etc. I'll give you an example. I can walk in my wife's in our master closet. She'll only wear about 20% of the shoes that are in there. Now, I'm not saying that to be funny. However, I'll look at my clothes. Typically, I'm wearing about 20% of the clothes that are actually hanging in there. Same thing with our business. 20% of the agents in our industry make 80% of the money. However, it's actually a lot higher than that. It's typically around 10 to 12% of the top agents make about 88% or 90% of the money that's out there. Okay. You guys understand the big rocks, little rocks analogy as well? I think it's by Steve Cohen as well. Work on your big rocks first. What matters most, things that matter most. When we sit down and we think about what matters most in our daily lives or our yearly lives or whatever, typically it's family. So how much time do you have allocated towards family? What's next for you? What matters most to you? That's a big rock. Or emails, text messages, that's the little stuff. That's the 80%. But if we focus on what matters most, everything else will fill in around it. Okay. So recap a little bit. Anybody have any? You guys are going to have questions. I hope so. And do me a favor. I can't stop the share screen. I lost my mouse on here. So do me a favor, Kayla. Can you stop share? Maybe, maybe not. Kayla, Dan's gone. Oh, I did. Oh. There we go. You guys still there? Yay. All right. So, and is it still on screen share? Oh,
No.
yes. Okay, good. So give me some ahas on what you took away. You're not going to offend me if you don't have any at all.
I'm gonna
I
go
need-
savings account, checking accounts.
So I'm gonna suggest this to you. Is it Letha? Okay.
Yeah.
I do a profit first analogy class. Be on the lookout for that. And it kind of goes over from a business aspect on what accounts to open up and why. So therefore it's on autopilot. It's literally not. Actually, I think, Christian, you were at that class, I think, about 2 months ago. But it's literally goes over, how to kind of subcategory some of these accounts to get them established on the front end so you get into habits, to where you're not thinking about what you have to do. It's automatic, Somebody else, I heard somebody else.
I need to start working towards my goals a lot harder to make more money because I need a lot of money I gotta make. But can you go back to the slide where it was get real about your goals? I missed some of the stuff on there because I was helping my sister.
Gotcha. Get real about your goals. Give me a little bit more of a, are you talking about, let me see, are you talking about this one right here?
It's also recorded, so you're able to go back and look at it
Good
later
point.
too. I think Dan will post it to YouTube.
Hey, you know what? Sarah for the win right there. Is it
Efficiency.
Desiree?
It's all about efficiency.
There you go, girl. So Desiree, anything at all? Any ahas or takeaways? Or like, what the heck is an aha? What the heck is a takeaway?
No, I guess a good takeaway is just really that breakdown of the goals is actually putting a person or an event or whatever to an actual number. I mean, that's pretty huge actually, because I have a tendency to think big, but then it gets jumbled together because you have so much stuff going on. But if I have something laid out like that, that can really set me up for success and actually sticking to it.
I totally agree with that, because I think when you make it real and attach it to something that matters, that's where that emotion piece that I talked about comes into play. And that emotion turns into action, and then the action just produces the result. That's literally, I think, how most humans operate, so good. I'm glad that worked out, because I do like that analogy. I do, I look at that and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool, add it up. So how about you, Stephen? Stephen's been quiet all morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, hold on.
How about if I come back to you? So here's the thing, the rest of you, I'm going to call on you. Do not exit this call. Do not, because I will call you personally. So Kayla, talk to me. I know that you're just kind of monitoring this, making sure I don't say anything inappropriate, which is actually pretty well reserved for me. But any takeaways from you?
I'm kind of with Desiree as far as I do think that sometimes, especially a new agent, you get blindsided with a lot all at once. And I think we all kind of have to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think how you do that is you set short-term and long-term goals. But if you put like a face to the name or a set goal, a name to what it is, it's different than if it's just, oh, I want to pay off debt. What debt? And when? And how much? And how long? If you go more specific, you have something that you can actually work towards, instead of it's just a huge balloon that can deflate slowly, or you can pop it.
I liked what you said about it being a marathon. That is huge to me, because you guys have heard the analogy, well, not even the analogy. Have you guys seen the exercise? And some of you may think it's cheesy. However, hey, Jason, can I pick on you? I'm gonna anyhow.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So this may sound cheesy, may look cheesy, but I just want you to for everybody else to kind of take a look at this. And I'm not picking on you, okay? But we all do this. Do me a favor. Raise your hands as high as you possibly can. I know it's weird. If this were in person. Okay.
Both hands.
Stop. Reach a little bit higher now, just a little bit. Now, why didn't you do that in the first place? You limited your own potential. We all do this. It's natural. You see what I'm saying? We all do this, but we don't give that 100%. So what I mean by that 100% is we can all, every single one of us, give 1% extra tomorrow. 1%. You're not even going to notice 1%. So 1% of 24 hours in a day. Can somebody, hey, Jacob, dude, I know you have a calculator. I know you do. What's 1% of 24 hours in a day? And I'll let you. What was that?
1% of 24 hours?
Yeah.
0.24.
Okay. Is that minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be me.
24 minutes.
So here's my question to you. Do you have 24 minutes in your day somewhere to where you could actually, there's no way it's 24 minutes, dude. It's 2.4 minutes.
I don't know. You're probably better at math than
Yeah,
me.
there's no way it's 24 minutes because that's actually going to be a lot.
I
So,
just did 24 times 0.01.
It'd be 14 minutes, 40 seconds.
do you have time for that in a day?
Yes.
Utilize it to the best potential. Fill it in, fill the gaps in. And then here's the thing. If you do 1% better every single day, how many days is it going to take you to double your business? 100. You're just limiting your own beliefs right there by just not giving the 100%. Make sense? So it is a marathon. It's not instantaneous. If I ask you, hey, do you want to have the, you guys know Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously the guy works out, yada, yada. You want to have a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Go to the gym for 24 hours and just work. Jason's got it down. Go to the gym 24 hours in a day and tell me you're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not. You're going to be sore as heck. And then you're going to give up probably the next 3 days because you can't move. But if you work out a certain increment per day and build up, does that make sense? Same thing in our business. There's no need to start out the gate with an unrealistic expectation. Just be true to yourself on what you say you're going to do. And that's that promise that we talked about in the very beginning. You're only promising yourself. The only way to look at the promise is look in the mirror. Did you do what you say you were going to do that day? Did you? Yes or no? Now, you ready? This is going to sting. And those of you that know me know that I'm coming from contribution and from the heart. What matters most to you? Most people are going to say family. So if you didn't give 100%, I challenge you to go home and tell your family you didn't give 100% that day. You know what? I could have made that extra phone call, but I didn't. What you say yes to, you're saying no to. Vice versa. What you say no to, you're also saying yes to. Okay? So keep that in mind when you go there. So Stephen, are you ready, dude? One aha, one takeaway.
It's probably just a conglomeration of what everybody else said. It's that path you have to set on. Like you have to, like me and my wife next to it, me, Desiree, we both feel like we're working toward it, but we're being overloaded all the time. But if we keep doing small pieces every single day, we actually are moving forward.
Yep. And you know what? One of the things that I typically see is some people may be doing that extra, but here's the thing. It may not be bringing in the results that you want. And you're on a ticking time bomb because you need money to pay the bills. I get that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get the plan in place. It's going to get you the results that you want in the time frame that you need. And then all you're doing is you're performing those actions. Okay. So Sarah's in a car. So before she shuts off and goes inside anywhere, I'm going to pick on her in order what was an aha or takeaway from today.
I always think to myself, like, I'm not going to get much out of this, like, oh, my scheduling is fine. Oh, I've got my numbers down. Oh, whatever. But there's always something. It's just another perspective. It's just another, just another tidbit to kind of, for whatever reason. But I think the whole doing the numbers and then adding it all together, having that one solid, for me, it's $750,000. So it's nice to know that chunk, and then I can break that down. Like, that's actually like encourages me even more. So I really I enjoyed that, actually.
Two things I got away from what you just said. One is the encouragement piece. So let me ask you this. Has anybody ever ran a marathon? Not me, but does anybody else run a marathon? Okay, so does anybody know what a marathon is? 26.2 miles of running. Okay, I don't run unless somebody's chasing me, for one. Two, but I'm using this analogy. When somebody's running a race, they typically start out of the gate kind of quick, just pretty quick, but they got to pace themselves. Am I right? So remember the marathon that she talked about earlier, that 1%, or the marathon? It's a long distance race. However, what typically happens to a runner at the very end when they're able to see the finish line?
You sprint.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. What do we do when we get close to a degree? If somebody's trying to get their degree, in the very beginning, they're excited to go to school, and then all of a sudden, the second semester, they're, oh my gosh, and it's just blah 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 until they get to that 4th year. If they're trying to get that bachelor's, and then what happens? They're like, oh, I can see the finish line. Oh my gosh, it's real. So what happens to? Yep, your energy goes up. You just want to knock it out now.
Grades get better.
Yeah, there you go. So, and then I also got, you were talking a little bit about a lot of the tidbits of information. So this is a challenge for every single one of you. And if you have anybody that is a librarian, I'm not beating up on librarians. However, librarians have what? They have books and books and books around them. However, they don't have the time to implement anything that they typically learn. Don't be the librarian here today. Don't take the information and bookshelf it somewhere. Take the action piece on it. Okay. Jason, what you got, dude?
What was the question?
Any aha or takeaway?
Don't schedule things while you're doing a class, because your classes are amazing. So I've been on 2 inspections and kind of missing a lot of golden nuggets. But I would say the ahas is definitely implement things that you're talking about, of making the calls or setting the goals. Love that.
I always have the philosophy of wherever you're at, be there. So those of you with kids that are school-age children, anybody have kids that are in sports? Okay, so this may sting a little bit too. Let's just say volleyball. I've got kids. I got grown kids. Okay, and I'm guilty of this. However, wherever you're at, be there. If you're at their volleyball game or you're at their softball game, be there. If you're on your phone, you're not there. Now, do you not think they notice that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do your clients notice that when you're not there? Oh yeah. So here, my whole point is wherever you're at, be there. I am not here today going through my phone, going through text just because they come in. I'm dedicating my time right here today to have the biggest impact that I possibly can. Okay, during the time that's allotted that I need to be doing this. Same thing in your business. If you had a listing presentation, be at your listing presentation. Be present. Not only physically, phone is off, it's in the car. I don't care what you do. Or it's in, just because it's turned over on the desk and it keeps vibrating. Yeah, what does that mean? Great. Be there.
Gorilla has a good feature. You turn it upside down and it goes on do not disturb. I love that feature.
So when you're lead generating, there's a lot of different tricks I have on this. Turn off all notifications. If I would have not turned off my notifications on this call here today, do you guys know how distracting that would have been? So why don't you do it in your own business? Why do you allow these distractions, these little things, the 80%? Why do you allow them to take control of your life? You have the same amount of time that any other agent out there has. They just probably control their time a lot better than you do. And if you're controlling your time, what do you think that does to stress? I'm pretty sure it doesn't increase it. I think it actually brings the stress level down because you're in control versus being out of control. Whenever you're out of control, guess what? People get stressed and then they make irrational decisions.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
So to continue with my marathon analogy, so back in my high school days, I used to run cross country, and running is not my thing. It was just there was a cute boy in cross country. But so in cross country though, they have what's called a rabbit, which is the runner who sprints in the very, very beginning. And what it's meant to do is it's meant to gas out the other runners. It's like a competitive angle. And with my time here at Keller and reading the MREA, I feel like the rabbit is your 80, because it's almost like you get so wrapped up in all the little things and it gasses you out, and then you can't focus on your 20. But that's just always how it's made sense to me, is that the 80 is your rabbit. And you have to like, sometimes you have to, what Aaron's saying is ignore that rabbit and stay on your path, because if not, then you're going to gas yourself out before you can take care of your 20.
I'm going to relate that to real estate, Kayla, and thank you for bringing that up, because here's the thing. I'm going to give you a true example. I've got an agent on our team that's probably going to close out about 120 transactions this year. Okay. Some of you just basically, yeah, you need to go change your shorts on that, because bottom line is like, how in the world are you able to do that? Systems and models. Okay. And then 2, don't chase that rabbit. If you want to get to where he's at, you've got to go through the path that he was there before. Find somebody that is literally, that has a goal set that is just above where you're at. So in other words, if you're going to climb a ladder, you don't hit the first rung of the ladder and jump to the top. You incrementally move up. Don't chase that rabbit like she's talking about just because you see somebody else that's basically doing something that is, I want to be there. That's great. There's a path to get there. It doesn't just happen overnight. You got to be willing to do what other agents are unwilling to do, if that's what you want to do. So that being said, the secret is there is no secret. There's a path to follow. You just got to be able to do what they're doing. That's all. Okay, good point. So Maria Plum, is this the Chastity Plum's mother?
Charity is my daughter.
Charity. Yeah, okay, well, good. Well, good relationship. So talk to me, any takeaways that you got?
Yeah, your diagram, with the rectangles around it, putting more meaningful things to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Charity's here.
Oh, I called her Chastity, didn't I? Yeah, Charity, yes. Good. Don't answer the question, but was she one of the names in the blocks? Don't answer that. All right. Well, that's good. And I think what it does.
It's putting more meaning to the goal, having a name there,
Mm-hmm. So
I
will give you something that I do every single week. And I'd have to kind of dig it all up here on the computer, but bottom line is there's one day a week that I do this. I teach this to the agents as well. You've got to have time to take time for yourself. Meaning get clarity on what you did last week. Now you can do that by doing what? What are most people going to do? Go through their phone. What did I do last week? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. You also got to look at what did you want to do last week? Do you even have an agenda at what you wanted to achieve? Because bottom line is we have what? Our life is a storybook. The only person with a pen is you. If you don't write down what you want to accomplish in your storybook, life is going to happen to you. And you can't complain about what happens to you because you didn't plan out your life effectively. Don't be the victim. Nobody knows when the last page in the storybook's going to end, but you're the one that actually writes your own story. So what I typically do is on Sundays, it's about 8 o'clock. I will literally sit by myself, and it's typically outside, no distractions whatsoever. I will take my phone. The only reason I'll take my phone is to look back, and I have an Excel product. What is my agenda for this last week? what matters most? Let's talk about that, i.e. family. I will have family blocked out anywhere from 5 a.m. all the way down to 8 o'clock at night. So therefore, how much time do I want to allocate to family? I fill it in. It's already filled in. Then there's going to be other aspects of life, which is what? Financial, business. There's going to be health. All of this stuff, I get to fill in whatever block I want in my life. It's my life. I get to do whatever I want. I choose to put things on there to focus on. So therefore, if I look at something from last week, I ask myself, am I satisfied with my agenda for last week? Now I'll look at my phone and go, this is what happened. Whatever happens on my calendar has to happen. It's not my agenda, it has to happen. So therefore, I will take the appointments that are on my phone and I will actually make sure for the upcoming week, I will put them in those blocks, 1 hour blocks. That's giving me the mindset of what's going to be transpiring this upcoming week. If I have an issue, let's just say, if anybody's had teenagers, thank goodness I'm out of that era, okay? I need to spend more time with my kids. Meaning I have to have more blocks of time allocated to that for this upcoming week. I control the time, so therefore I get to choose what I want to do again. So taking the time to take time for yourself to figure out where you've been the last week, how satisfied you were. Okay, let's run it from a business aspect. If I'm going to lead generate, how much time did I actually lead generate? Literally, how much did I really do? Well, I wanted to do about 3 hours per day, and it was broken up into different sectors and chunks. But you know what? Reality? Oh man, I didn't achieve that. What do you think I need more of this next week? More lead generation. It's that simple. We all have the same amount of time per day. It's how we use the time in a day. So then I look at forecasting for the next week. I don't look at the whole year. I can control the whole year. I can control this next week though. I will also look at it on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. I'll go back then, I'll open up the Excel sheet and I go, okay, you know what? How well did I adhere to my agenda? And don't get me started on making sure that we have to have open white space because things happen in real estate. Am I correct? You get an appointment, boom, now you know exactly what time blocks to fill it in at. Are you controlling your business or is your business controlling you? It's that simple. How disciplined are we to say no? How disciplined are we to say yes to something? Typically, it's the other way around. We say no. It's easy to say no. It's default. However, it's also default to say yes. Hey, you got a minute? Sure do. You're saying yes to that, but you're saying no to something else. So those that know me, if somebody walked in this door right now and said, hey, you got a minute? Nope. And then I move on. No offense, but I'm going to go back out to him later on, but it just wasn't the right time or place. How well are you controlling your time? That's all. So let's go with either Stephanie or Joseph. Give me an aha. Don't jump on, or Jacob.
I guess that you said you can't really fail at real estate, you can just give up.
Yep.
And then also the like really putting like faces on goals or whatever, or like just putting like emotion behind what you want to achieve versus just a dollar amount. So that, but yeah.
You know, Joseph, one of the things that I do is, you know how you guys saw the analogy on how we do that. So I've got a vision board and it's actually photos. And what I noticed was the photos were people that mattered most to me. So that visual turns into an emotion. You know what I'm saying? If words turn into emotion for you, great, use that. If visual is an emotion for you, use that. You've got to be able to trigger something emotionally for you to react. Okay. That being said, that's why I love vision boards, because I'm visual. If I see a picture of my daughter or my wife and I at CMA Fest, That's a goal that I want to have happen, but it takes money to get there. Okay, that's an experience that I want to recreate, or it may be a new place. So therefore I look at that and I literally will look, I'm telling you, I've got a booklet of all my agents' goals. That's how much it matters to me, the vision boards. If I can help them achieve what their goals are, I'm helping them achieve whatever they want in life. And it's up to them to determine what they are. So that being said, that's why it's important. Okay. Stephanie, and then Jacob. How's that? Jacob, you got a lot of time to think, dude.
Oh, well, okay. Just one thing. This is for Jason because I know he's doing wonderful things while he's not here. One thing that we heard early on was first you work to learn and then you work to earn. And so Jason's already doing that, I know. And so I'm really proud of him. So I'm glad he jumped on the call because otherwise I was going to be like, are you at Ignite? You know, anyway, so isn't that kind of cool? I was thinking about him.
There you go. That's the accountability. Person to your left and the person to your right.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing that just kind of hit me hard was this whole 20 to 80%, because like I would challenge anybody to like, you know, make a post on Facebook that like, you know, what you're grateful for from last month or something, get in on Facebook and like not getting distracted and not knowing what you're supposed to do. Like 3 seconds later, I'm like lost, you know, and then it's like, so anyways, I think that like the 20% right there is get on Facebook. And if that's not a bad thing to do, but like, don't get lost in the other 80% of like, oh, this is important for me to stay in touch with all of my people. I think I'm doing something good, but no, like you're forgetting what you're even supposed to do. And then you can go search like for, you know, who's posted on your other comments and then keep following up with them. But like, just, I think I challenge anybody to like get on Facebook and actually do what you're supposed to do.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I think we all can get distracted. Am I correct? And that distraction leads us into how in the heck did I just spend an hour and a half on TikTok? Okay, or whatever, social media platform or Instagram or whatever, you know. But if you're intentional about doing something consistently, and getting there and doing it and just getting off of there, you don't see the distractions. Don't get me wrong. It's an addictive behavior. It is. That's the intent for that. However, remember the time blocking that I had mentioned? I control what I control. So here's the thing and I go back to where, believe it or not, I was in sales, believe it or not. Okay. At one time, I would literally have in the morning, that's the only time that I did a social media post and checked it. That's it. In the evening, now you guys are gonna balk and you're gonna go, what in the world? That was the only time. It was about 7 at night. That's the only time I opened emails. And let that sink in a little bit.
You put on your shoes?
The reason that we're checking throughout the day and all the distractions that come in, turn off all your notifications. Try that once. There is no emergency in real estate. None. I come from a background of combat search and rescue to where there were literally people that would on the battlefield that are dying every single day. And here's the thing, that's an emergency. Nobody's gonna die in real estate. So for me, there is no stress in real estate. What's the worst that can happen on the buy side? The absolute worst. Well, they're gonna lose their earnest money. Well, great, fantastic, that stinks. If you treat that earnest money as your money, now what's the issue? What's the worst thing that happen on the seller side? The home doesn't sell. They didn't sell it in the time frame. They didn't get enough money. What's the worst that can happen? It's the perspective piece, how you're looking at it. So therefore, that being said, don't allow this stuff to embed into your actions. Don't allow it to dictate what you do on a daily basis. Here's the thing that was very interesting to us. We did my exec, she brought up a study that was done. We typically check our phones, and I don't even know whether it's true or not. We typically check our phone, just pick it up and look at it every 7 minutes on average. So if you turn off your text messages, the little dings, the little sliders, you're going to check a text message within every about 7 minutes. Don't tell me the world's going to come to an end within 7 minutes because you didn't return a text right away. But what do we do when we're driving? Let's be honest. Text comes in on the other side. Bing. What do? You pick it up, you look at it. Why in the world do we have to respond right away? Or let's be safe. Let's stop at the stoplight and then we'll do it there. Why can't we wait another 8 minutes to get home? Seriously. It's addictive. I get it. Okay. So keep that in mind when it comes to distractions, when it comes to things that kind of impact your lives. Bottom line is you're in control of it. It's whether or not you're going to, I probably have about 15 different texts right here just during this time frame. But I choose to control when I do the things that I want to do. You do too. And again, if you're going to be there, be there. You're going to be texting during the volleyball game that your daughter's at, they're going to notice that you're not there. You're not there up here, you're there physically. So just be there for them. Cool. So last guy. All right, Jacob, drum roll.
All right, so my aha is like what I said earlier, that I need to focus on my goals more, because I'm not really focusing on my goals. I've been noticing that lately. And another aha that I came up with, like while we were talking and discussing, is I need to manage my time better. I got this planner, but it's only for 2021, so I'm not really managing my time well for this month, but I need to work on that a lot more.
So let's go to an extreme. Okay. We talk about time management. If you can block it out in chunks of time, like basically you're planning your day out. And let me go back to my military days. A meeting started at 3 o'clock. It didn't start at 3:05. If I didn't get there before 3 o'clock, the door was shut and locked. I'm not getting in. If you go on Southwest Airlines and go ahead and take a flight from here to, I don't care where you're going, and you get there 15 minutes late, the plane took off. Don't allow something that you're doing to overlap into another time frame that is critical. Make sense? Adhere to the time frame. If it's a client, has anybody had any clients that are very wordy and they just talk a lot? We all have them. It's okay. But here's the thing. I'm setting the presence up front. Hey, listen, I got an appointment at 2 o'clock. I know it's 1 o'clock right now. I'm devoting 100% of my attention to you right now. What did that just do? It set the platform to let them know that you've got to be done at 2 o'clock. I don't care if it's showings. I don't care what it is. Because here's the thing. I'm devoting 100% of my attention to you right now, and I will do so. I'm not going to answer the phone at 2:30 when you call me later on either, because I'm devoting that time to somebody else that needs it as well. Control it. Don't allow it to overlap. If you are late to something, one of the biggest trust breakers in the world. It is. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
If you're late with me, I'm done. I have no patience for that. You just wasted my time. That's a high D though. Okay. There's no excuse for it. You can call ahead. Hey, I'm running late. I'm late. Okay, we're going to go. Readjust. I didn't adjust my schedule for the rest of the day though. I didn't move everything else 15 minutes later. You just shortened the time frame by 45 minutes now. That's it. Or 2 45 minutes. Make sense? So control your time. Be accountable to your time. Be disciplined on that. And understand that, you know what? Hey, now don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things you can't just, ding, I'm done, and move out. Okay. You got to be able to transition ahead of time a little bit too. Cool. All right. On that note, I'm going to let these guys continue, but thank you. Continue to do what you guys are doing. You guys are going to rock it, and good luck with the rest of the course of Ignite. Phenomenal course to get you guys started in real estate. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you.
Hey, and I can leave the meeting without it ending. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, hey, Jason, you be safe on that motorcycle, dude. All right. So
Thank you. Good class today.
Thank you. All right. You guys take care. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.
What'd you guys think of that? I lost a lot of people during the call, which is good. I'm glad to see that you guys stuck in there. Aaron's one of our best instructors, and I'm glad you guys were able to see that goals are the foundation of what you do. And I love that he used the analogy of the race, and Kayla kind of pinned on that. We talked about it this morning. Is breaking up your goal into small pieces is going to be paramount to your success. Always having an idea of what you're going to do in the future is phenomenal and exciting. I'm going to be massive, successful, what have you. But it sometimes becomes overbearing when you see that you have this huge element ahead of him that you may not know how to overcome. How do you eat an elephant? Anyone ever heard that statement? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. How do you get to success in real estate? One phone call at a time, one connection at a time. And that's where it's at. In your Ignite book list, you have a 411 and a GPS. If you guys would please go to those. Do you have your books with you? If not, let me know.
Is that at the beginning or in the unit that we're?
Right in the beginning, it's in the Ignite toolkit. A 411 template and a GPS. It's do they have a GPS in those, Kayla? I'm only seeing the 411. Yeah, I'm seeing a 411, but I don't see the GPS. Okay.
Yeah,
We're going to start with this. I don't see a GPS either. So there's two things in there that we're going to talk about today, and that's your 66-day challenge, which should also be in there, and your 411. You guys see your 66-day challenge. Just looks like a calendar with 66 days on it. Single page, right? These are two of the best tools you can utilize for goal setting. On your 66-day challenge, we are going to, right now, today, choose a challenge for you guys to do to benefit yourselves and better your lives, professionally, personally, relationships, physical, what have you. And we're going to pick something you're going to do for the next 66 days consistently. Now, with the 66-day challenge, it's the challenge to do something so simply and easy that you don't have to think about it all that much. It's something that's a minor change they call a minute task that will change the way we do anything else. Somebody give me a goal that you would like to achieve here soon. Weight loss, professional, personal, relationship-wise. Give me something. I'm going to help you break it down.
Connect with one person each day that I haven't talked to in a long time.
Well, there you go. You've actually broken it down that simply. Connect to somebody, one person a day that you haven't talked to in a long time. Define a long time.
Over a year.
Okay. So your 66-day challenge starts tomorrow. You can even start it today. I like it because we're not even done with today. Starting today, and that's to connect with somebody you haven't talked to in over a year. And do that every day for 66 days. Weekends count. There are no days off in 66-day challenges, 66 days straight. It's that simple. What else can you use? Someone else give me another goal.
I want to lose 30 pounds by the first of the year.
30 pounds in 30 days. Okay, what's it going to take to get there?
A pound a day.
I'm saying we got to look at it. What kind of metrics can we hit? What small element can we change in our habits that'll allow us to get to an end goal? And that's what a 66-day challenge is about. What habits do you think you need to change in order to lose 30 pounds in 30 days? Jason,
Dieting.
go ahead.
Dieting.
Okay, dieting is too broad. We want to narrow it down to something specific that we can do every day.
Go on a run.
Yeah, go on a walk, go on a run. 66-day challenge, something you can do in a minute. Change your life. Drink more water. Walk for 15 minutes a day.
Give up snacks.
Okay. Giving up something's difficult.
Mhm.
It really is. You can't really build a foundation around giving up something, but you can give a foundation of something else. So if you are a snacker, replace your snacks. It's not something you can build a habit around. It's just the behavior. I can tell you that if you're looking to lose weight and you're a snacker, get rid of all the sugary snacks possible and only give yourself healthier options. If you're looking to lose weight, get active. So a 66-day challenge could be walking for 15 minutes at a time, at least once a day for 66 days. 15 minutes of a walk. Not very long, doesn't take a whole lot of energy. Do you think that would change some habits? Okay. What time are you going to go walking every day, kind of thing? So we'll talk to Jason when he gets back on. But these are what we're going to start doing is your 66-day challenge. I want that. I want you to select a challenge and run with it. Pick a challenge and go. If you want to have a more structured life, go to bed at a certain time every day. Eat dinner at a certain time every day. Create habits that will help you build successful businesses. Happens in shortfold, and it's the simple things. Like I make it a point to go to bed at 9:30 every day. Even last night, my girlfriend wanted to play video games for a little longer. I was like, you can stay up and do whatever you want. You don't have to work tomorrow. I'm going to bed. It's 9:30. And for me to do so, I have to shut things off at 9 because I know it takes me about a half an hour to unwind and go to bed. So if I want to move that back, my 66-day challenge is okay. I want all the electronics in my house off at 8:45. Get the house tightened up and going to bed by 9:30 every day. So is that a simple thing I can do every day? Shut everything off at 8:45 for 66 days. I did a 66-day challenge for gratitude. I did it on TikTok, actually. For 66 days, I did a video every day of what I was grateful for. It made my mind think about the things that I was thankful for and grateful for and, appreciated in my life. And what that was a habit to get rid of the negative thinking, the stinking thinking. So your 66-day challenge could be a multitude of things. I want you to pick something and go for it. Something that will help you fortify a goal in the end run. I like Jacob's, talk to somebody I haven't talked to in over a year. That's a habit of creating the environment where you're okay talking to people you haven't talked to in a while. Any questions on that? We good on that? Pretty simple, right? Give me some ideas of what you're thinking about.
Create a calendar and actually the 66-day challenge of actually trying to stay with it.
Okay. Creating a calendar. So following a calendar every day. That's a big one. That's going to be a tough one to put on a 66-day challenge because it's a large tasking thing. So do we have a calendar set up? Do we have a blocked out calendar now? Okay. It's listed there behind you on the whiteboard. Okay. Well, that's good. At least first step one's written it down. It's right there. We just need to continue on with that. So every day on your 66-day challenge, maybe it's the review your calendar for the day. That way you get in the habit of checking your calendar. And then what you do is you put the 66-day challenge up somewhere you can review it every day and initial or check box or put a happy face, a frowny face, and smiling. And if you miss a day, that's fine. Get back on it the next day. If you miss 3 days, start over. And I would excite you guys to do a 66-day challenge back to back to back so that you have the opportunity of changing your life step by step, bit by bit. Challenge your friends, your family, other people to do it with you. Has anyone heard of that 75 Hard program? Some physical activity program where it's 75 days of hard activity. It's 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes. One of them has to be outside, stick to a diet, no alcohol, read 10 pages of a self-help or nonfiction business type book. And the guy that put it out there said that it's such a hard program, no one will do it. And people use it as a challenge every time, and they're changing their lives doing so. This is no different than that. It's just not as grandiose. This is simple implementation of one habit we can change every day. Like for me, it was drinking water in the morning. I drink 30 ounces of water every morning. That was a 66-day challenge I started once. My life has been better. My attitude is better. My skin looks better. I don't drink as much coffee. Actually, I don't drink coffee at all. I don't drink energy drinks as often. This is actually the first one I've had in months. I shouldn't have drank it this morning, to be honest. It's making me go crazy. But that's how you change your life. So the 66-day challenge. Now we're gonna move over to the 411. This is a monthly action thing that we're gonna utilize to get to our main goals. We are gonna put some goals out there together, and we're gonna talk about our annual goal. Those of you who did your business planning clinics should have an annualized goal needed to hit, right? Your income goal, if it's 15, 20, 35, 50 units, whatever your goal was from business planning clinic, needs to be your annual goal for business. I have personal and business on my 411s. And then your monthly goal is whatever month we're in to get to your annual goal, what you need to do that month to stay on track, and then weekly. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to give you what my goal looks like. I'm actually going to do last month's. Right. Week 4, I want week 4, I want sent 411s. And I send this to my coach every Monday. My coach, my leads, all of them. Well, here's another one. You guys see my 411 on there? Thumbs up. Cool. As you can see, this is for November of 2020. This is the one I just filled out. Like, this is the end of last week, and I sent it to my coach this on Monday. I sent her the new one for December. You can see my annual goals by December 31st is weighing under 299 pounds, $40,000 in an investment account, refi my house and drop PMI, which is my annual goal. In business is $200,000 in GCI, 100 agents in my program, grow 25 cappers, and close 50 PC deals in December. Very, very specific goals to hit by specific timeframes. And in my monthly goals, breaking down in November, what I need to do is I wanted to read 3 books, the 12-week year, hold and flip, do something for my soul, escape for a minute. One of the things I don't do is I don't take time off for myself. So I had to put it on my calendar and my schedule. In business, I needed to add 10 new agents, $30,000 in company dollar, have 7 closings, and put 30 contracts written. You see how we're breaking it down into the month. For me to get to where we want to go, we have to break it into small pieces. Week 1 is you're setting up your non-negotiables for the week. So 30 minutes of reading, gym 2 days a week for 45 minutes. And in business, I need 10 new agent meetings, 2 video testimonials, 2 Facebook ads, and plan a mastermind for November. These are things that we can do. So for you, if you have goals, it'll be your monthly goal, take 3 listings, get 2 deals written, 3 deals written. And then your weekly goals, you want to set up how many appointments do you need to have for you to get to where you want to go. And then as the weeks progress, you want to front load your month. So the largest portion of your tasks early in the month, because that's when you have the most energy. We talk like that race, we come out of the gate strong, and then we slow down, and then we speed back up towards the finish. But it's always keeping focus on that. And we can see that my month, and what I actually do is when I didn't get things done, I draw a line and move them as they progress so that I can change things. And every month, like I did 10 meetings the first week, and I needed 5 the next week, 5 the next week, and then 10 for my final week, just to lynch the deal home. Retool 17 material for agents. Is it making sense? It's a very simple thing, but I wanted to share what it looks like. And you start with your goals in mind every month, and then you can print out your week 1 goals, and then just as it's printed out, you fill it in as the weeks progress. But that way you can take your annual goal, break it into a monthly goal, and then a weekly goal. The elephant one bite at a time. what do I need to do this week? And as an agent, it's going to look differently than mine. Like yours, it could be, I need 2 appointments this week. I need to contact 50 people. I need to write 5 offers. Depending on where your business is, you want to have, those are your metrics for the week. That's what a successful week looks like. And breaking this down, and another thing we're going to implement soon is called a 12-week year, is taking our annual goals and breaking them down into 12-week sections and creating a much more formalized idea. So a book you need to read if you have not done so is the 12-week year. It's a phenomenal book on goal setting and successfully traversing those environments. But having a written plan for your week, and then, like Aaron says, going and implementing the space in his calendar to succeed those items is how you're going to make your business successful. Any questions? Someone give me a goal that you're going to put at the top of your annual. What's your annual goal? I want a personal and a business.
To quit smoking is my personal one, and then my business one is to be able to make it to year 2.
Okay, what do you need to do to make it to year 2?
6 deals.
6 deals? Okay. So 6 deals in a year. That needs to be the goal. And what do we need to do per month to get to both the quit smoking and make 6 deals?
Were you asking me? I was writing.
Yeah, I'm asking that question so you can get to that flow. The other form, and I'm going to probably send it out today in the email when I send it, is the GPS, and this is going to help bring it all together. I'm kind of really surprised it's not in this packet. PC program, GPS. The next is we're going to look at is the GPS. So keep those in mind, Stephen. We're going to work with those is to sell 6 houses and to quit smoking. This is the Word document I'm going to send you guys. You can fill out. Your GPS is your goals, your priorities, and the strategies to get there. So my one thing for the year, you're going to actually have 2 of these, Stephen. One is going to be to make 6 deals, which I think is too late for you. I think you're going to do more than that. I think it needs to be 12. And then 1 for the quit smoking. So let's go with the one that I understand the easiest, because I don't smoke, so I don't know what the struggle is there, but we're going to talk around it. GPS goal for the year would be 12 deals, right? Or in your case, you said 6, but like I said, I want you to stretch your mind. Whatever your goal for yourself is, I want you to double it. And that's going to be your stretch goal, because whatever it is, double it. Because if you're thinking 6, you're going to hit 6. If you're thinking 12, you're going to do the activities needed to get to 12. 12 closed units for the year. And that's by when? December 31st, 2021?
Yeah, because I should have most of this stuff learned and be actually moving forward right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so that's it. 12 units. It's 1 a month. Priority 1 to get there. And this is where people get tripped up, is what priorities are, is we want them to be the dominoes. The domino effect is if I achieve priority 1, I will also achieve my one thing for the year. So priority 1 could be take 12 listings. Because listings, we kind of figure if they're a listing, they're probably going to sell, right? So we start thinking that way. Okay, strategies. Strategy 1, and I'm going to just do a couple and you can let you guys think about this when I send it. So strategies, what kind of strategies do you need to take 12 listings?
Do open houses.
Okay, so we can do open houses. How many a month?
I'd like to do 3 a week, so 12 a month.
There you go. What's another strategy?
We're working on our scripts for door knocking in our our neighborhoods here to get used to talking about it and to actually get used to doing the hardest type of lead generation, in my opinion, is door knocking to strangers.
There you go. So door knocking. But also we want to look at how many appointments, how many listing appointments we're going to go on. So we know that from Business Planning Clinic, if you want to sell 12 units, you want to take 12 listings a year, you need to go on 16 listing appointments, 17 listing appointments
for the whole year.
For a year. So 2 a month, 2 listing appointments a month.
When you're talking listing appointments, you're talking about when I get somebody that's actually like sitting down with them trying to sign the listing agreement, correct?
Right. And that's exactly what it is. It's taking somebody from, yes, we're thinking about selling our house, to sitting at the kitchen table. How many kitchen table meetings do you need to have to get your goal? So we start looking at things as lead indicators, the actions we take now that will dictate our goal later. We don't want to look at the lag indicators. And taking 12 listings is kind of a lag indicator because we're taking 12 listings, but what actions do we need to get there? Strategies, 3 open houses a week. Great. Goal there is to talk to people and make creation. Next strategy is having 2 listing appointments a month. So that's the goal to search for, is you're pushing to get 2 appointments per month. So if we get 2 appointments per month, we're getting at least one of them signed. It's a 50% ratio. That's taking 1 listing every month. That's taking 12 listings. And listings typically sell. They're an 80 to 90% sell factor. So again, the domino effect. If we knock over the first domino, is it going to give us our main goal? We want them to be daisy chained together. And also look at it as priority 1 is the gatekeeper to priority 2. Once we get to priority 1, we earn the right to do priority 2. Priority 2 could be, write 15 buyer contracts. And then the strategies to do that. Again, open houses, Facebook lead generation, sphere of influence calling, grow your database. Again, if we write 15 contracts for buyers based on their anticipated close, will we hit our main goal for the year? But if you do both, if you do 12 listings and 15 buyer contracts, what's your main goal looking like? In the bag, right? We start thinking these things instead of going, I got to do 12 contracts. Oh my God, I've never done one. And we break it down to 3 open houses a month, knowing your lead generation, talking to 10 people a day. It's that simple. We broke down what you need to do in contacts, how many appointments you need, how many leads you need. We can break all that down based on the MREA models, how many deals you want, and you can do it right in command. Put your deals in there. It'll tell you how many contacts, how many leads you need, how many appointments you need to have to make the income you want to make. Let's take that elephant one bite at a time. The GPS I'm going to send you is the goal and priorities and the strategies needed to get there. The GPS lines up with your 411. The GPS is the yearly. This is my yearly goal, or I actually like 12-month GPS or 12-week GPS. This is what we're going to do in the next 12 weeks. Again, keeping it quarterly instead of yearly. So read that book, 12-week year. And then the 411 is your action plan weekly. You should have how many 411 sheets filled out then? If we're doing them at the beginning of the month, then we're just handwriting them in afterwards. How many should we have printed?
12.
12. Thank you, Jacob. 12 411s, and that's for January through December. You want some extra accountability? Fill out your 411 and send it to me every week. Send it to me every week. Mine are right here, like I'm reaching up. Here are all of mine for the year. And they're all filled out. You can notice that the first column is printed because I printed in my computer and then I printed out, and then the rest of them are handwritten. And as the months progress, your goals will shift. There might be a new book you want to read. There might be an opportunity where you had a great month and you're actually moving your annual goal up in stride. These are live documents and they need to be held as such instead of just print it, forget it. Like, oh, I did it. Congratulations, I'm good. No, It needs to be a guidepost right next to your calendar. I love how Steve and Desiree have that right behind them in the work center. I can see it. Put it right there. It needs to be on that board and look at it. And like I just displayed, I look at this screen every day, multiple times a day, and the GPS 411 are literally in my periphery still. If I look up, I've got my vision board. Please come to my office. I'll show you the things that you need to look at all the time to be successful. Is keeping your goals out in front of you. So 411 GPS are super paramount to that. That's part of our goal sets for lead generation, for success. Now, on a personal side of things, like to quit smoking, by when and who needs to help? That's when you start thinking about by when and who needs to help. You're smoking a pack a day now. A priority could be getting down to less than a pack a week. And that's what, I don't know how many's in a pack, 5 cigarettes a day. I don't know. Forgive me. So these are things we can break those goals down into to hurdles and benchmarks, waypoints, if you will, to know that you're on your goal. Is it easier to step down or just stop? So
depends on the person.
Exactly. It depends on you. If your goal is to weight loss, I have a terrible time with weight loss because I've always been big. That's my social disorder upstairs is I've always told myself I'm Big Dan Caldwell. I'm always going to be big. I've always been big. I just don't want to be as big. I want to be like large Dan Caldwell and not extra large Dan Caldwell or extra large as I am now. I'm just saying. But these are things and my goals are designed around what I can do. For somebody like me to say, I want to weigh under 299 pounds, everyone on this call will never realize that weight. Because that's huge. But then again, I'm 340 pounds and a lot bigger than most people. So goals are dependent on the person. How you're going to get there is how you are going to get there. If you need an extra support or you need a counselor or you need somebody to check in with every week, that needs to be on your GPS and your 411. Check in with sponsor, check in with counselor, check in with guide, check in with my accountability partner. That's when your goals become reality, is when you're able to hold them accountable to you. Any questions on goal sets, 411s, GPSs? Do they scare you a little bit? Because you don't know how to fill them out. Just try. Start with getting it filled out and we'll work through it.
I have a question. You said on your 411, you said you fill out the first week and then by the end of that week, you go into week 2 and you bleed them over into week 3 and 4?
Yeah, and that's the thing is what you don't accomplish this week must be done next week. Because it's all because our monthly goal needs to be it. If your goal as production is, I need 4 closings, like mine was 7 closings this month in November. We got to, I think 6, just 2 moved. No, we got to 5 and 2 moved over. So those 2 now roll into January and I need to do 9 closings in January. Same thing with my weeks. If I didn't write 2 contracts on Monday or on week 1, and it's 2 contracts a week, it's essentially I have to write 4 contracts on week 2. We got to get them done because the things that we don't do roll over, and we don't have the time for them to roll over. We're trying to pack our calendars to be as successful as possible. We're not going to get there if we're just putting arbitrary numbers and information down. It needs to be a non-negotiable list. These are the must-dos. You must shower and go to the bathroom every day. If you don't do that, you're going to be in a bad way. You got to breathe air. Seriously, the body's got a default. If you stop breathing, if you force yourself to stop breathing, your body will knock you out, take you out of control, and just go into programming and allow you to breathe. Did you know that? That's because your body's desire to be successful, i.e. live, is stronger than your ability to control it. So once you create that element in your business where your desires to be successful are stronger than the distractions, they will no longer stop you from doing what you need to. You will be able to, like Aaron says, I don't have time right now, I do it 2:30. It all starts with 1, having the calendar, having a plan, and following it. Good stuff? All right, it's 11:09. You guys have had a lot of information one day. These classes are getting shorter because we're getting better at them. We're going to move into contract prep soon. We were supposed to do so today, but I didn't realize that today was goal setting, and goal setting always follows up the 411 GPS. So contract prep starts when we're doing contracts. For those of you who have not done so, please download a copy of the purchase contract like Aaron says and start reading it. It's boring as all hell. You need to have it. If you want a great resource, come to the market centers, get a buyer's book from Title Security. We have them at the market centers, and they have a printout of the contracts in the back. And the cool thing about it is it gives you a boilerplate contract. Actually gives you a lot of information, but it gives you a boilerplate of the contract. So you've got the contract as well as a description of it. So you know the sections and stuff like that. So come grab one of these. It's really good to have handy. Also will help you explain the contracts as well as the other forms that are in there. That's definitely a great piece of material for you so we can go through that. We are going to be starting our contract prep stuff and understanding how to actually sign contracts, what reviews in them. If you did not go to the broker's class on when she did the contract review, you need to make sure you review that material. We are going to start talking about how to do our contracts, go through .loop, DocuSign, whichever system you're going to use, and get them filled out. Until then, get your GPSs and 411s done. I'll send the GPS document out here as soon as I've got the recording done. I sent the recording from yesterday this morning, finally got it. You guys liking this so far? You learning some good stuff? Lots, tons. This is only foundational. We're not even into the good stuff yet. And that's coming real soon. So, but don't let your inabilities right now stop you from making contacts and just talking to people. My greatest joy is when I got a new agent that's still in class, calls me up and says, I got a contract, I got a client that wants me to write a purchase offer. I don't know what to do. And I walk him through it. That was Jacob a couple weeks ago. Wrote his first purchase contract. Actually wrote two of them in the last couple
Hopefully I write one today, but
that's the
she's
thing.
not answering.
Yeah. These classes get you started. We do it in the morning so you can learn in the morning and go earn in the afternoon. So dedicate some time of your day every day to do some lead generation. And I guarantee you'll start finding success a lot sooner than someone else. If you need me, call me, text me. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. It's 10 o'clock tomorrow because it's Wednesday. So Ignite's at 10 o'clock tomorrow because we have an all partners meeting at 9 a.m. And if you didn't know, Kristen Cole, our new OP, will be here on Friday between 1:30, I believe it's 1:30, around 1:30. Come meet her. She's an awesome lady, one of the best business minds I've ever met. So good stuff, guys. Enjoy your times. Thank you so much for your participation today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.